Hello and welcome to another video here at Hobbies and Happiness. My name's Dan, and guys, we got more Lorcana news. All right, that was like the most awkward intro ever. Okay, so we've got quite a few things to talk about Disney Lorcana. I actually recorded a video, man, like over last weekend about some news, and we got more news. So I'm gonna go over the stuff that I talked about in that video in this one, and then just kind of kill two birds with one stone. So I think it was last week we got some information. Let's get to it right here. This comes to us from Knives Nerd Corner. So last week he asked a question in regards to gameplay, and Disney Lorcana was kind enough to answer. And so if you check out his Twitter, he did a video about this. I'll link in the description. Answered the question, how many inks can you have in your deck? So, and they answered 2. You're going to have 2 inks in your deck. So, there's a lot of implications here. So right now we know that there's 6 different colors. You've got, let's see if I can get them right. Amethyst, Amber, Sapphire, Ruby, Steel, and then one other one. I can't remember what it is. Yellow, purple, green, blue, red, and colorless? Steel? I don't know what steel color is supposed to be. All right, so you can have 2. So, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. Because my initial thought is I don't like it. That's my initial take. Now, again, we still don't know anything about the game. We don't know rules. We know, like, literally nothing. And so, my initial take is that we are limited on how we can build decks, and we're restricted creatively. Our theory crafting has been restricted. So initially, I'm not a fan of that. However, in having discussions and thinking about it, one of the things that it does open up is it does open up more creative possibilities in regards to deck building. You have to come up to more creative ways to think about problems, to solve problems. So it is a restriction, but you can look at it from the standpoint of I need to be more creative now. So we still don't know if we're going to have a colorless faction or cards that can go in every deck. So for example, red cards can only go in decks that have the color red. So like you can have red and yellow, for instance. Right. So I believe the total number of possibilities is 26 or something, 22. I can't remember, but it's something like 22. I believe it was 22. If I remember the math, it's NCR. I think it's 22. And that includes monocolors, right? Now, again, we still don't know, like I said, if there is a colorless faction. Okay, I would tend to think there are, because I would tend to think there's going to be cards that can go in every deck, but who knows? Now, one of the things that the community has said, which if you haven't yet, go check out the Lorcana HQ Discord, where a lot of these questions are being had. But one of the things that's being said is well, if you can't have 5 color decks, then there's going to be no tier 0 deck. I don't think that's going to be true, or excuse me, I don't think that is necessarily true, right? Because depending on how the game is designed and depending upon how metas shift and change, there still could be a tier 0 deck, right? In theory, right? But I can understand the argument because, you know, when you say you can't have 5 colors, oh, well, then you can't have 5 color good stuff. Well, you can still have good stuff decks, right? You could have the good stuff in these 2 colors, and it turns out that these are some of the best cards in the game. Like, that's a possibility, but we just don't know enough of the card pool. We know nothing, right? So I think the possibility is still there. However, I can see the argument of that this could potentially limit it. I can see that, okay? So, you know, again, wait and see. I'm in a wait and see. Let's see what happens. So we know, but we at least know 2 colors per deck. Okay, boom. Again, check out Knives Nerd Corner. He did the video. Again, link in the description. But today we got some interesting news. We've got a new card type. Now, this is the post from Lorcana's Twitter account. they had teased this from like puzzles of other images, which I won't show, but if you just go on their socials, you can see. But there's a few things. So we see the card is Dragonfire. It is an action. Okay, so far we've seen characters. Okay, this is the first action card, so it's a different type of card. Okay, so a couple things we see here. So it's Maleficent, which I think most people said it's this thing that they were teasing was Maleficent. So we see it is cost 5. We're assuming this is cost. Name Dragonfire. It's an action. You see it's a ruby. Okay, and has the rules text banish chosen character. A couple things that I noticed. Number 1, the name Dragonfire. The first thing that I noticed was the name. I see Dragonfire. Huh, isn't that the same name as the card ability on the card Maleficent? So if we pull it up, these are all the cards, but if we see here, Maleficent, Dragonfire, when you play this character, you may banish chosen opposing character. Well, that's interesting. For me, that's one of the first times that I've seen like this be the same as a card name before. I've not seen that in other card games. So I wonder if that means anything. I doubt it. They just took that name and said, you know what, this should be its own card. Who knows? Like we'll see. But that's the first thing that I noticed. Okay, and again, it's the same action, right? It's the same effect, right? Banish chosen character. Also, banish chosen character is 3 words. The fact they were able to do that in 3 words, because again, if I think in Magic terms, this would say like destroy target character and opponent controls, or something along those lines, right? This doesn't say an opponent controls either. It just says banish chosen character. So you could potentially target your own stuff with this. I'm always open to cards that are more versatile, can have, options of targeting my opponent's stuff, but also targeting my stuff if needed, if the need arise. So, that thing is there. Now, the entire card's not shown. There's a lot of stuff that is, covered, right? We don't know it's at the bottom. Okay. My initial thought was, well, they don't want to show set information. Okay. How many cards are in the set, rarities, because again, typically that information is on the bottom of a lot of cards. You've got the rarity, serial number, card number in the set. There's a lot of different things that you can see at the bottom of most TCGs. Okay. The other thing is we don't see pips over here. Now, they could be covered. They could just be removed from this image. Who knows? I think it's a good guess to note that there aren't any here. And that's most likely going to be in the final version of this card. I think that's a good guess. I mean, again, we're all speculating, right? But one of the other things that's interesting here is again, we're assuming this is the cost. This is most likely the cost, okay? This is very different, okay? Again, let's look at the Maleficent card. You see this area, okay, right behind the hex. It's an octagon. I know my shapes. This thing here, what is that? Okay, now, and then you see the black area, how it's like, it's not a sharp shape, okay, because I noticed this here, okay, and then this here, it's like a blotch almost. I'm like, huh, it looks like something was removed. But again, I then compare that to this, and that's also there as well. There's those blotchings around those edges. So that's something that I noted as well. But it looks different. So what does that mean? I don't know. And I don't even have a guess because I have no idea. I don't have a single clue. Okay. Now, but the other thing is this ability cost 5. Okay. Maleficent, the card, costs 9. So this effect, okay, again, doing an analysis here, this effect here costs 5. So that means you're getting a 7/5 body for 4 resources. And that's pretty good. Folks have been saying within the community that this means Maleficent is a very efficient character. I would tend to agree with that. However, I'm normally in other card games, if I'm paying 9 costs for something, the word efficient isn't normally the first thing that comes to mind. Like, that's still a lot of resources typically in most card games. So normally the first word that comes to mind is typically not efficient. However, again, if I look at this body here and say 9 cost, 7/5 plus this effect, but then I see this effect on another card and it costs 5, yeah, then that's pretty efficient. I would tend to agree there. So that's pretty much the news. So that's the news for today. If you're not on Twitter, if you're not on these social accounts, follow Disney Lorcana. They have been very active within the community. And you guys, you should have seen the Discord today. Everybody talking about, oh, well, this means this means that. Guys, this doesn't mean anything. We know nothing. Like, we don't know how any of this works. And we all know it's speculation. Everyone knows we're speculating. And everyone's having a really good time. Like, I don't like being the guy saying, guys, chill out. Like, you're making too much of this. Because people are having fun. They're having a good time, right? It's just, I think for me, it's my experience in the space and getting burned before. Like, I don't want that to happen. And so, like, that is probably where some of my pessimism comes in, I think. But, I'm still in wait and see. I'm very excited for this game. And this is cool. Like, we finally have a new card type. And, we're going to wait and see, like, what other card types we get in this game. So, yeah, that's what we got for today. I want to know, what do you guys think? Did you call it? I mean, I know you did. You called it, right? Like, you knew it was Maleficent. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who called that it was an action, because again, if we go to their Twitter account, they posted this here. So this post here, actions burn hotter than words, which glimmer is shown here. Well, they got the glimmer right. Like, it was Maleficent. I called it, but there are plenty of people who, like, if we go to the post here, we can see. I know some people did. Eason was no. We knew who it was. I gotta find it, because I know there have been people who said that it was actually, here we go, Dojo the First Fist, actions, new card type, maybe he called it. And then I know a Jedi Geek Girl did too. Here we go, will we see a new type of card, action? Yeah, so they all called it. I honestly didn't think about it. I did not put 2 and 2 together when I actually saw it. But kudos to you guys who got it right. Kudos to y'all for getting it right. So yeah, that's all the news we got. There's a lot. It's a lot today, and people were really excited, and I get it. I understand. So what do you guys think? You excited for this? What do you expect? Yeah, I want to know. Leave a comment down below. Hit up the Discord, and let's talk about it. Yeah, but that's all I got for you today. As more news comes up like this, I'm going to try and get together and just do some of these short videos just to kind of recap what's been going on. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll catch you in the next video. See you, everybody.